Last year, hundreds of thousands of Americans gathered at the Lincoln Memorial for an event called Restoring Honor. Some of you may have been there. It may have changed you. I know that it changed me. In August of last year, I challenged Americans to live a life of honesty and integrity. This year, I have a new challenge today. I ask you to turn your eyes to Israel and restore courage. I have been asked by the press over and over again, what is it you think you can teach Israel about courage? My answer is simple: nothing. They asked me then, so then why would you come to Israel? Because I say, in Israel, you see courage. In Israel, there is more courage in one small square mile than in all of Europe. In Israel, there is more courage in one soldier than in the combined and cold hearts of every bureaucrat at the United Nations. In Israel, you can find people who will stand against incredible odds, against the entire tide of global opinion, just because it's right, just because it's good, and just because it's true. Israel is not a perfect country. No country is perfect. But it tries, and it is courageous. Today, the world needs courage more than ever before. We need it because whether you live in Jerusalem or in London or in Athens, Madrid, or Washington, D.C., you know, we all know, the world's changing just a little bit. The world is burning, and whatever we thought would never change, whatever we've grown to think is solid and strong and durable, is under siege. You don't really have to be a prophet to know that things aren't really going that well. The threats are mounting, and evil is growing. Darkness is falling. Far too many politicians are just too willing to look away. The shapeshifters are working. They have turned day into night and good into evil. They have changed the very meaning of our words. In New York, the so-called leaders of the world are talking about human rights and the abuses of human rights. But what they do is abuse the very meaning of the phrase human rights. Human rights, they say, but who will they focus on? Libya? Syria? North Korea? No. They will condemn Israel, tiny Israel, democratic Israel, free Israel, Israel which values human life above all other things, as usual. Israel is the exception. The world is adrift. The world is confused. In Europe, the great nations of the past, Greece, Italy, Spain, Britain, they are all falling into violence. We have raised up a generation who cannot tell the difference between what they owe society and what society owes them. They interviewed the rioters in England, and they asked them, why are you stealing tennis shoes and televisions? Because, the rioters said, because we deserve them. We may think, oh, how different is today's youth. But they are merely imitating their parents. They have seen how the world reacts to evil. Indifference. They watch. They learn. They imitate. What one generation tolerates, the next generation embraces. When the Fogel family was killed in their sleep, the world barely took note. The grand councils of earth condemn Israel, while across the border, Syria slaughters her own people, her own citizens dead in the streets, and the grand councils of the world remain silent. It is no wonder why the children of the world are setting their streets on fire. These international councils, these panels of so-called diplomats, condemn Israel not because they actually believe that Israel needs to be corrected. They do so because it's convenient. Everybody does it. In some countries, it's a crime not to condemn Israel. The diplomats are afraid. They're cowards. And so they submit.